The Po' Boy Pundits podcast is brought to you by What Lola Wants. Go to WLWPrivateChefs.com for information to reserve top quality chef and restaurant services in the Chicagoland area. Pulpery Media presents Po' Boy Pundits with your hosts, Brock and Ben. This is where we discuss the political headlines that grab our attention and all those little jerks that infuriate us.
Because of the State of the Union, not State of the Union address, why aren't more people like Buttigieg? There's no C in that.
Correct.
Buttigieg.
Yeah.
God bless his soul is going out there and talking to anybody. He'll even go on Fox News and just be like,
yeah. Because he knows how to talk to them.
Right.
It's like, look, like, here's just how it is. And they have to sit there and go, okay, that kind of sounds right.
And then turn.
Right.
Because you're right. He's really good at, like, keeping his emotions at home.
Yeah.
And he can just sit there and be like, blah, 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 blah,
well, and probably, like, with Fox, he knows he walks in and they're all, like, in their head, like, gay slurs.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
And he's just like, all right, fine. Like,
the one I saw today was like,
I'm on house money anyway, so who gives a shit?
He was referring to, like, well, these people did it. It wasn't an issue, but why is it an issue when me and my husband do it? Was basically the whole gist of it.
If you all are small government constitutional libertarians, why is this an issue?
Exactly.
Like,
so
why are you coming into my bedroom? I thought that was the whole thing that you all.
I mean, we sans Lindsey Graham, he wants to be in everybody's bedroom, but yeah, stay the fuck out, you know.
I'm sorry.
I hate Lindsey Graham.
Like, least surprising news ever.
I think about it all the time. Like, who do I run into more out of, like, Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz, and Jim Jordan, and Mike Johnson? And Mike Johnson's at the top of the list.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk to that
man. Smug son of a bitch.
And he's like 4'2". Like, no offense to short people, but come on.
And I said this last time. Yeah, you can't be his age and rocks. Like, if you're gonna have sideburns, you got to have a beard. Like, otherwise,
I don't know what it is. He's like, so
fucking
awkward.
shade. Like, why do you have sideburns?
You know why? Because
earlobes?
the part of Louisiana that he represents is still living in, like, 90210 at times.
Yeah.
Like, they think Shannon Doherty's like the shit right
now.
Yeah,
they go out at night and dance to the boot scoop and boogie.
Correct. They line dance.
Correct.
Shit.
Yeah. And not the fun line dancing they do in, like, Atlanta.
But, like, he's the worst. Like, he seems like a puppet.
Oh, he's such
you know those creepy puppets that, like, have that smile and the marionettes doing their thing? Did I say that right? Is that what that is?
Yeah, marionette, yeah.
Okay. That's what he's like.
Or he's like the old ventriloquist puppet.
Yeah, that one too. That is just, like, constantly smiling.
Or he's a butt boy. I believe is what we used to call stuff like that.
He's terrible.
Oh, well, I mean, his whole job is, shining turds.
Right.
But he does it with that.
It's the smile.
Yeah, it's a smirk of, like, he walks into a room as if he's so much smarter than everybody else.
Yeah, no, he is the definition of he's the smartest guy in the room. Yeah. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Correct,
and he's not. Like, and that's the sad part is, like, time and time again, he goes on these interviews, and even the person interviewing him, like, calls him out on something, and he's like,
That's what What's-Her-Face does in the press room, too.
Yeah.
Like, everybody will call her out on it. She'll be like, once again, everybody voted for this administration. She says the same shit. Whatever.
But that goes back to that Sam Cedar debate thing, which is like that's where MAGA is. That's where this new generation of uneducated conservatives are, and that it's like you can tell them they're wrong, and even provide them with facts.
Correct.
And they'll just go, no, that's not right.
Yep.
That's wrong.
You need to look at the whole picture.
Right. Yeah, you need to do your own research.
So now, how the fuck did Chuck Schumer decide who's in the Senate guy? Thune,
yeah.
Okay, that's Thimble. A guy. I couldn't even.
Well, I mean, like he's not like Thom Phillip like from.
I couldn't pick him
Yeah.
out of a line. He could deliver a package right now, and I wouldn't know who he was.
Well, yeah, because the lineup would be old white dudes, and you're like, which one of those old white
Right.
dudes?
So,
Like, who brags about going to
a great-
church,
Right. So how did Schumer and 10 Democrats say, yeah, we're okay with this?
So
Until September, right? Is that the end of the fiscal year, September?
yeah, but it's too late for that because you already bent the fuck over
Yeah, exactly.
and like just said like, oh, I'll be your submissive bottom now.
So-
But
None of them are at threat to lose their seat, huh?
Oh no.
Any of the I don't know who the 10 Democrats are, but I would figure if they got reelected and they're in there, they're pretty safe.
Well, this was my thinking of why Schumer would go into this of like again of just completely bending over.
Right.
Not demanding they remove anything because it wasn't again, they needed the filibuster 60, which the Republicans don't have in the Senate.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So Schumer should have gone in and said, "We'll give you, we'll beat the filibuster for you if you remove this, and this, right?
Yeah.
Or this, and we'll go halvesies on this."
Right.
They didn't even do any of that.
Oh, you mean like politics and shit like that is
Yeah.
supposed to work, right?
Correct,
Like they're
yeah,
representing their people and they're supposed to go in there and, represent their... Yeah, exactly. He went...
And the sad
I
part
think
was,
we're good.
all it took was Mike Johnson going on TV and saying the Democrats are wanting to shut down the government.
That was the point I
Yeah.
wanted to make
And-
just now. That's all it took. And there's no one on the Dems side who can go out there and be like, he's lying, to where a lot of the people go, oh, yeah, he is.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's not enough of them doing it, and the ones
Right.
that are the ones that everybody they're already Chicken Littles. They're like it's AOC, and everybody's going
That's what I
like,
was
well,
gonna
she's
say.
always complaining, but it's like, but she's fucking right. But
We need more. That's why I was saying we need more of those, like,
well, this is where so my thinking of that was like, why would Schumer do that with the threat of the government shutdown, and that Schumer is of that class of Democrats where they're going like they're the anti-Bernies and like they still want to shoot for the middle, right?
yeah, no, that doesn't exist anymore.
Right, but
I hate to say it. It's not.
well, and there's been people who have said like we don't want the Democrat like independents or swing voters
Yeah.
who have said like we don't want the Democrats to meet them in the middle. We want the Democrats to take a fucking stance on something and fight for something.
And they don't.
But so this
They're pussies.
this
you
is
know
where-
why they're all beta males.
this is where I love math and numbers.
Samesies.
So for what Chuck Schumer's going for is, so his idea, what I believe is this. So if we look at the numbers from the last election, 77.3 million people voted for Trump,
Right.
right? So out of that 77.3 million, 12%, at least in exit polling, said
Right.
that they were like a swing vote. They classified themselves as a swing vote.
How much of that?
12%.
12%
So
of we'll
that's-
call it 775.
Don't worry, I've done it. 9.2 million. So
Okay.
that's the number of votes Chuck Schumer's going for, the people in the middle who could swing. No, hang on. So if we step back from that, so in the United States, there are 244 million eligible voters.
You got the math done there.
Yeah. No, trust me, I did it.
Okay, good.
Thanks to ChatGPT and a calculator. So, of those eligible
You
voters,
didn't use an abacus.
no.
Okay.
57.5 million are non-registered voters. So, what that leaves is 186.5 million registered voters. Out of that,
So we had 186, and the last election was 77 to 71-ish.
hold on,
right?
I'm getting there.
Oh,
there.
okay, all right.
So, out of the 186.5 million registered voters in the last presidential election, 33.5 million registered voters did not vote.
That's
and then
half. Oh no,
correct.
that's
so and then out total that cast votes for the president 153 million.
Right.
So if we add up the non-registered and the registered non-voters, that's 91 million votes.
That's more than either one of the candidates got.
Correct. So the Democrats, as a party, should be targeting getting registration much easier and voting much easier.
Yeah, well.
And then but even the 33.5 million. So instead of going for the 9.2 million swing votes, you should be going for that 33.5 million non-voters.
If you go straight for the 9 million, you got to get all of them.
Correct.
If you go for it's larger pool to pull people over.
But if you go for the non-registered and the registered non-voters, you try and target that group, which is 91 million, which is you make registration easier nationwide.
And
you make voting.
We were doing that, and now that's gonna be gone.
Gone, right? And so
if we have an election again,
because like you said, even if we got half of that 91 million on top of what was already there,
still wouldn't have been enough.
That would like if we had gotten that plus what Kamala had gotten, that would have been fine nationwide.
Oh yeah, nationwide, yeah.
Now again, we're not talking. I didn't break it down by district and stuff like that.
No.
But that's the Democrats' problem, is that they're going for the small, harder number versus the bigger picture.
Who's running this fucking shit show? I mean, the idiots over here. At least they are fucking a group. They are what we call in sport, like they are a team. They're starting to gel.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's. And the Democrats are all like literally running around with their heads cut off.
Well, because you have like different groups. Like I would sit there and probably say like, AOC, although she's backed off of the progressive rhetoric.
I think she's realizing that like you could still do what she's doing and call them out on it. Yeah. But just you're not going to be hardcore. We all need to be with windmills.
Well, and also when you're in the minority, you can't dictate
correct
Green New Deals and stuff like that. But but even the Bernie like again, the majority, I would think over half of that 91 million would be in favor of Bernie's policies and stuff like that. But
I love it. But hey, socialism,
like right? Yeah, you just got to figure out a way of like rebranding that. But there's a group within the Democrats that understand that idea. Like there's disaffected people who are not voting, who they need to get into the voting booth, get registered, and all that.
They're the people who just like go about their lives. Yeah. They could care fucking less. They have decent money.
But But instead, you have that old guard that still comes from like the Clinton centrist idea,
we need to get rid of those
in like, well, no, these are the people like we know they vote, and we know if we could get them over here, be like, go for the rookies. Like,
so here's the thing:
go for the intangibles. Play Moneyball with this fucking thing.
And the GOP party, like the House, like the representatives, they've gotten younger.
Yeah.
Especially in the House.
Right.
And we've still got,
Pelosi's still being reelected.
And now she's on a cane and shit.
Which makes no sense because she's not from a district where they're going to lose to a Republican.
That's why I was asking about the other
fuck off.
Even Democrats that are in a competitive market.
Right.
They still voted no for the CR. Like,
Right, yeah.
Like, if they're willing to go, because that's what it is now. At this point, it's just like,
I
want to stay in power.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the St. Louis rep, Cori Bush. She lost, but she lost in the primary to another Democrat. Like, that's always going to be a Democrat seat.
Right, but
they wanted somebody who actually worked and didn't just protest and grandstand.
Jasmine Crockett's good at that. Like, she's working, and you can see the videos, and you can watch it on C-SPAN. But then she comes out of those hearings or whatever you call them. And what would you say?
Gets salty.
She's super angry. Like, I can't imagine what the Dems in those.
The following segment has been brought to you by Whatever Lola Wants. Go to WLWPrivateChefs.com for information to reserve top quality chef and restaurant services in the Chicagoland area. The Po' Boy Podcast is a production of Pulpery Media, produced and edited by Ben Grimion, marketing by Brock Ryder, graphic design by Beck Ryder and Ben Grimion, music by the Heisenberg Compensators.